Okay, folks, we are live, and I know you're waiting for the dance.
I know, man.
Waiting for
That's the only reason I come.
Yeah, that's too funny. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Before we actually start, I do want to mention, I want to give a shout out to the Ollie K family. They have been posting some wonderful pictures of them enjoying some Scuttlebutt t-shirts that they got on TeePublic,
Nice.
and they look fantastic. Him and his wife.
I mean, Ollie always looks good, but
Ollie definitely always looks good. And thank you to Ollie. Thank you, Ollie, for supporting the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast as long as you have. I think he is follower number 1 or 2
we'll
back in the day.
One.
We'll give him number 1. Absolutely. But yeah, thank you, Ollie. Any shout outs that you want to do to some peeps from somewhere?
To the people that tune in every Saturday night and hang out with us. We appreciate all you guys who are in the chat and give us feedback and stuff like that. We appreciate it. And as we've said many times before, that's the only reason why we're doing this.
Yeah.
To interact with fellow lovers of Star Wars.
Absolutely. It's pretty cool because, we're obviously we have full-time jobs. We don't do this to generate any income or anything like that. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. But, it keeps us honest, I think, really. Yeah. It keeps us true to ourselves.
Unbiased.
I don't know if you saw Nick Schaefer, our own Red 5 Network newest member, Backyard TARDIS. He dropped a video, showing some of the stuff that we sent him and showing some swag that he got from other podcasts. But he had a nice message about us on his video, and really appreciate that. But I think, when we started doing this back in 2019, I think we relegated ourselves to the fact that, we weren't trying to be like anybody else. We just wanted to be ourselves and interact with folks in an honest way and not give two shits about what anybody else says or thinks about. I don't know about our opinion for sure, because this is our opinion. We disagree with, I would say, 62.375% of the internet crowd, but it is what it is.
Yeah. But more importantly, if you had a TARDIS in your backyard, what's the first thing where would you go? Or when would you go? I guess.
Yeah. When? Yeah. I mean, that's a good question. I've always said, because that has been a question on the podcast for a while. Every so often, people would ask that question. I think I'm really intrigued at I guess two time eras. The Roaring 20s, like that era, and the Old West. I think the Old West is so raw and I don't know, devoid of obviously technology and stuff like that. But I think it's I like the rawness. I think if we went back in time and went to the Western era with like some gadgets, I think that would be kind of cool to either scare people or surprise people, and then show off. And I don't know, it's almost like Back to the Future owning the sports almanac and knowing the results of all that stuff and becoming powerfully rich. But something like that, I think that would be interesting. How about you?
We do the Oregon Trail, huh?
Yes.
Relive the Oregon Trail. I don't know. I think either revolutionary time period, around the events, the years leading up to 1776, and thereafter. Although it wasn't too pretty in the years following, but this would have been cool to live in that area. Or I would say probably the 40s or 50s, not that far back.
Yeah,
because so much happened, especially with all the UFO sightings and that sort of thing around 1947, 1948, creation of the CIA in the early 50s. I definitely would have loved to have been alive in that time period to experience that.
Yeah, and then going back to kind of our roots, during the Kennedy assassination, I think having us walk around in black suits and dark glasses would be kind of fun.
Oh yeah, with an umbrella.
Yes, exactly. Excellent. All right, we're going to talk about Skeleton Crew, and
that's why we're here. Yeah,
that's why we're here.
I thought we were just chatting.
We're just chatting. We can do a chat only show, but sure. I want to say hello to the chat. Thank you guys again. Like Brad said, thank you for joining us every Saturday. This is episode 7 of Skeleton Crew, but big thanks to everybody that is in the chat slowly coming in. Make sure to grab your sunscreens and your blasters and your cool adult libations. Let me push a couple buttons and we shall return somehow like Palpatine, right?
This podcast is a member of the Red 5 Network. For more Red 5 Network podcasts and content creators, visit bio.link/Red5.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast.
Lightsabers. We've got lightsabers.
Yes. I know. I forgot about it, too. It's like, oh, that's right. He took that lightsaber. But Skeleton Crew discussion, episode 7. We're going to be in so much trouble. That's how we started our podcast, actually.
Yeah. And we almost got a bad feeling. I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Half a bad feeling about this.
Yeah. I like that. I think it's fun to see, I feel like this show has had so many Easter eggs. There has been so much from the background stuff to, some character moments, some lines. Obviously, like you said, we almost did get I have a bad feeling about this. But it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. There's sometimes you feel like there's too much of that stuff. Like you have, the saying of, there's too many member berries. I know a lot of people like to use that term. I think I don't know what you feel about it. I'm kind of like on the edge of, there are a lot, but I think in this series they're done kind of well. They're not like,
they're background things for the most part. It's just adding flavor to it, I think.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not overwhelming, or that's not the only thing. If that was the only thing carrying the show were these Easter eggs, that'd be something. But no, they're all just in the background. Makes you want to go back. And I already want to do another rewatch just to look at the background and see what I missed. Just
to catch some of those things. Yeah, I agree. And then, obviously when the series first started, everybody was saying it was going to be Goonies in space and very nostalgic. You're falling to pieces over there.
Yeah, something. You get what you pay for.
Yeah, exactly. But, is it living up to that Goonies in space hype that we got before the series started for you?
No, I don't think it is, but not in a bad way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it is. It just is what it is. I mean, I think it's a good show about some kids on an adventure, but I don't know. Goonies is kind of one of those one-off movies. It's, I don't think it's fair to compare much to it. I mean, I love Goonies. I don't think Goonies was necessarily a great movie, but it was fun, especially for our age when we saw it in the mid 80s. But I don't think it's the same vibe as the Goonies. But it lives up to its. I don't know. It stands on its own. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think so. And obviously, you have to kind of reel an audience in by making that sort of comparison. We see, kids in the promos and they're going on an adventure. And what's the first thing that you think of? And obviously, having used that Peter Schilling song at the beginning, with the promo, it does kind of pull at your heartstrings for people our age. So with that, I just want to say, yeah, they got us right.
Yeah. And now, since it's been a decent show, I'm going to take back all the hatred I had for using the Major Tom song. It's fine. They can use it. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go back and watch that trailer now and actually enjoy it.
Sure. So this episode, and we've been saying that it's been really kind of refreshing where, each episode starts where the other one kind of ends. There's not a lot of time in between the episodes, and it's really great. I think, when this series is over, it'd be nice to watch the whole thing in one sitting. But we are, treated to, the first scene goes, it goes really hard with some ET vibes. Even right down to the design of that device that the parents were setting up to try to communicate with the kids.
Do you think it was a little cheesy, the whole relay exercise they did as far as getting that thing out there?
I don't know.
You think it was funny or cheesy?
I think it's somewhere in the middle. Are you talking about when the droids show up and they're trying to put it all together?
Running them all. They're running. One gets stunned, and the next one.
Yeah. No, I think it's fine. I don't know. I didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, even that device, it was very reminiscent of the ship that ET blasted off in. So, very much continuing on that 80s vibe.
Yeah, I'm sure that was on purpose as well. I don't think that was any accident. Yeah,
absolutely. But it's this series continues to surprise. The only thing, this episode for me, and we'll get into it in a minute, this episode for me, for the most part, I was just sitting watching the events unfold and just kind of just nodding my head, shaking my head. I don't know if I was getting to a point where I was feeling like enough is enough with the kids. But then it really, obviously towards the end, it started ramping up. The drama started ramping up. I don't know what you thought.
In a way, this one was, I don't want to say my worst fear realized. And I still like the episode. I still we'll get to the ratings at the end. Still on the higher, above 5. But I thought it was awfully predictable, and everything we had talked about as far as AT-AT, why is it secret? Once it got there, I thought it was all pretty predictable what happened in this episode. So I didn't feel, I guess I felt a little bit let down overall with this episode, but okay. I think, because I don't know what story's left now. Obviously we have, we know how this one ends. I don't know what the last episode is going to hold, but this one, for being the penultimate episode, it seemed a little lax for me.
Yeah, I can see that. And after this episode, we've got one episode left, and I'm really hoping that it's longer to tease out whatever it is that they're going to leave us with, especially since this is really slated to be only one series or one season. But obviously money talks, ratings talks, fans talk, though obviously, again, not to bring up the Acolyte, but one of the things that is really refreshing is really that they're kind of sticking to their landing as far as how they present the story. We're not getting flashbacks and stretching the narrative to a point where people are just not interested anymore, dropping off like they did in the Acolyte. So I'll give them that.
Yeah. History is being told through the characters, and being revealed through the characters and through what unfolds, in the show. We don't need 2 episodes of flashbacks to fill in all the gaps.
Right.
Yeah.
And we get a really better sense too of the pirates this time around. Some of those shots are really great. And what's your favorite pirate's name? Brutus.
Brutus. Oh
yeah.
Rip Brutus.
Rip Brutus. But it's interesting because I didn't, like I said, I was watching this episode just kind of like shaking my head and kind of, seeing what happens. But towards the end, when Jod comes up and shoots Brutus. Oh, by the way, this is obviously a spoiler-rific, spoiler-filled discussion.
If you've gotten to Saturday and you haven't watched it and you're watching us talk about it, that's your fault.
That's your fault. But I mean, obviously it got a little heated. It got a little dramatic there with those two characters. We lose a favorite pirate character in the series. And
are we still saying this is for kids? What's the target market now? I mean, that's straight up. That was a straight up murder. I mean, he is a pirate. Let's not forget that.
Sure.
But are we still thinking this is for the kids?
Yeah. I mean,
shot the dude point blank.
Yeah. But I'm wondering too if all of this has been a trick, and Brutus is alive, and they have been working together from the get-go.
You mentioned it was either the last episode or the one before that you thought that Jod might be a good character. Do you still think that's the case after watching this one?
Well, it's funny because I just posted a couple of days ago regarding Jod. Tongue in cheek, I said, I hope Jod kills everybody. But the fact that Disney is so into the found family in Star Wars, obviously in the 3rd and 4th episode, they were all touchy feely on the planet of the French resistance. And they all got together, and kind of a very touching moment where they were all, they all left the planet together, and it was nice. But this episode really, kind of turns the table on that found family. Jod is mean. Jod is kind of the bad guy, especially in this episode. So I don't know which side of the fence he's going to lay on. And again, I think
a real long game. If he is a good guy, he's playing a real long game.
Yeah,
of pretending to be bad. I think he just is bad.
And here's the thing. I think it was last week when they were in the treasure room, and Jod decided to challenge Fern for the captaincy of the ship. You can really tell. Like, it took him a while to kind of make that decision. He was looking into the camera and the kids were behind him, and you can, the camera was focusing on his reaction, like he's going to do something. It's taking him a while to decide to do it. So I think maybe at that point, he had kind of, an ulterior motive to be able to either, get the treasure without hurting these kids, or this is where the big plan, the big picture plan kind of maybe comes together or is being set up. I don't feel like we're gonna end the series with him as a bad guy.
Really?
Yeah, because obviously, again, there are rumors that characters, namely Jude Law, is going to pop up in the Mandalorian movie. So I don't know where they have his character, going at this point. One episode left, but I don't think they're going to leave us with him being a bad guy. And he does reference Han Solo a lot in interviews. Han Solo is Jude Law's favorite character.
Sure.
So maybe there is some essence.
He's the anti-hero, but I mean, Han did shoot, He did take out Greedo, but whether it's a matter of direction or whether this was on purpose, I feel like those decisions that you're talking about to do bad things, to me in this episode, it looked like he was making those bad decisions a lot quicker than what he was an episode or two ago. Like
I can
doing
see
bad
that.
things.
Sure.
And then the question is, if how does the Force play into this? I think we can probably definitively say he is Force sensitive to some extent. I think we can confidently say that. So how does the Force play into all this?
Yeah, I don't know. And that begs the other question, are there other people in the galaxy at this point Force sensitive as well that are not privy to Jedi training? Because obviously he understands what the Force is, and he knows about the teachings because he just quoted Qui-Gon's quote a couple of episodes. So yeah, I don't know, have we had any information or lore about this time period when it comes to Force users? Are John Q public, or do they know of Force users that are just general public that are not Jedi, or what is the state of the galaxy?
I would say it's still probably minimal. Because you're still just a couple years after the Galactic Civil War,
right?
And we know that the Empire hid or destroyed a lot of or completely did a rewrite of history of the Jedi Order. So I'm widespread. I can still see them being mostly a myth, just like when Rey says in the Force Awakens she thought Luke Skywalker was a myth, right? I think that's just about the general public knowledge of the Jedi Order at this time.
And I feel too that whether that's the case or it's something else, it doesn't seem like it is explained. I mean, not even in 3 seasons of The Mandalorian, which takes place around the same time frame. Like, we don't know, there's still, obviously we get Ahsoka in The Mandalorian, but there's no other that I remember. There's no other reference really as to how Force users are handled in this time period.
In this time period, no. So we know that even after Order 66, a lot of this comes from the comic books. How canon? They're officially canon. How much you want to count them, but a lot of it, comes from that, and they're still trying to get Force users and either kill them or get them to join the Inquisitors. But that's directly after Order 66. That's early in the Empire. Like you said, there isn't too much at this point of what they're doing with Force users. Yeah.
So, it because of that, it kind of keeps us in the dark as far as what to think about him as a character. I was just texting with my brother, and he doesn't remember Jod picking up the lightsaber. Everybody had a question as far as what color that saber is going to be. We find out in this episode it's blue. So, and obviously it's not his. He picked it up in the treasure room, but it's interesting. Somebody had mentioned the fact that the way that he was holding it, and I'm not an expert on Form 1 and Form 2 of lightsaber training and all that stuff. So it would be interesting to get some insight as far as, if he is using any established form when he's holding the lightsaber. I know he points it at the kids to threaten them. He uses it to decapitate Smee, unfortunately. And do we think we're gonna see Smee again? He's a droid. He can be fixed.
Yeah, he'll be fixed.
Yeah. But what'd you think of his use of the lightsaber here? Obviously, we were waiting for him to kind of wield it.
I realized he was going to use it like 1 second before it happened. I'm like, oh yeah, he's got the lightsaber, and then he did it, and I thought it was pretty cool. Pretty aggressive, obviously, with the lightsaber.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel too like this lightsaber, as far as the effects, they're very different than what we saw in the Acolyte. If you go back and see the lightsaber usage and the effect of the lightsabers, it's very much original trilogy. A little more so than anything we've gotten so far. Just a little detail that I noticed.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's,
I mean, we're nerds. I still want to know the backstory. I want to know how that lightsaber ended up in that treasure room, and whose was it, and how to get there, and that sort of thing.
Well, what do you think? Last week we had the hologram that wasn't 100% up to par, and we couldn't see who was talking on that hologram. Who do you think that is?
You talking about with the old captain, the old pirate captain?
Yeah. There's a reason why that hologram was malfunctioning, at least from an audience perspective. They don't. The production team doesn't want the audience to know who the pirate was originally, I guess.
I hadn't put much thought into that, but it's kind of intriguing.
And I know I texted you when I was watching the episode regarding the voice of the administrator. Yeah. I could have sworn it was Ian McDiarmid who plays Palpatine, but I was looking at the credits and it is not him. But that would have been interesting.
But it had to have been somebody from at least what 40 years prior now at this point.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know.
And it's voiced by actor Stephen Fry, who folks may know from British TV and things like that. But we still have a lot of mysteries here in this series, one episode away from the finale. So,
I mean, do you think that the boundary, the maelstrom, as they called it, toxic maelstrom, as they called it, I think, is that enough to explain how this planet is completely lost in time? I mean, I know they didn't want too much outward communication, right. But has somebody else been coming for money this entire time? These Republic emissaries, has somebody else been coming, or did they not notice that they haven't gotten an emissary coming for a shipment in 40 years? Did the Empire keep coming to that planet and saying they were the Republic, or what? I don't know if that storm around it or anomaly, whatever it is, can explain them being lost in time like they are.
Well, in the prequels, we have a planet that went missing, as we know from the Jedi archives.
Sure.
So, something similar could be happening here in conjunction with the maelstrom that is impenetrable to scanners and stuff like that. But there did seem to be a lot of credits, a lot of Republic credits that were stored away. So maybe they haven't gotten an emissary in a really long time. And
no one's going to start asking questions.
Right. Papers, please. Where's your ID? That sort of thing. So who knows? The other thing too is, if you noticed during the descent of the Onyx Cinder, the kids were worried that they were going to be destroyed like the other pirate ships that were chasing them. Mm-hmm. But for some reason they weren't, and those defense mechanisms left them alone. And I think Wim was the one that said, "Oh my God, we are an AT-AT ship."
Yeah.
So there's a mystery regarding all that too. What do you think of that?
I don't know. I mean, it made sense. Does that mean the Onyx Cinder was an AT-AT ship, or that's not the Onyx Cinder? Because I kind of like that. I kind of liked it being the Onyx Cinder. But also, I thought the planetary defense, I thought that was pretty slick too. The electrical pulses, sure. Basically giant Tesla cannons in the atmosphere. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that was pretty cool. But, so the Onyx Cinder was on AT-AT, but as, disguised as, whatever that shell was.
Yeah.
And then, once they got rid of that shell, it transformed. So I don't know. Again, a lot more mysteries here during the last.
There's a lot
still to kind of answer. Yeah. And obviously, I don't think we're going to get the 100% answers, of these mysteries in one episode. They got to leave some for maybe a cliffhanger, or maybe if the possibility exists that the fans, enjoyed the series so much that they're going to do a second season. Or if, and I don't think this is going to be the case, if somebody in the boardroom at Lucasfilm planned it all out, because we know they don't do that sort of thing. And
no, not their forte.
And planned it all out so they can maybe see a conclusion to this story in the Mandalorian Grogu movie. I don't know.
I hope not. Because I'm not at all looking forward to that movie.
Well, here's the thing. Let's talk a little bit about that, because if we're going to get a Mandalorian and Grogu movie, what else would the narrative, or what else would the plot be if we've already had 3 seasons of the Mandalorian and Grogu?
Well, you're gonna have to tell me what happened in season 3, because I watched episode 1 and it, and then I had to go out to see, and then I got back and I asked you, hey, should I watch this? And the consensus was no.
Well, you'll have to watch it.
Is he still a baby?
He's going to be a baby for a really long time. He's 50 years old.
So
Grogu is 50, and then
is he a badass by the end of it, or anything?
There's some stuff that happens. He's got his moments, but there's I think one of the things that intrigued me that happened in season 3 of The Mandalorian is there is a group of Imperial officers that are scragglers and want to make sure that Palpatine's memory is still alive in a way. So there's stuff that happens there. But
was Luke back in at all?
No.
Any mention of the Jedi, or?
Yeah, just again, go fire up Disney Plus and one evening just watch.
Here, like no one. I mean, what did season 3 leave at a cliffhanger that would warrant a movie?
No. Season 3 left at it was Grogu playing in the front yard and Mandalorian sitting on the porch drinking iced tea.
That could be real for all I know.
That was it. That was it.
Really?
Yeah, and then the nice little circle wipe, because Grogu was using the Force to levitate a frog.
Stop. Okay.
And it went.
So why do they need a movie then?
Well, because that's where Lucasfilm's bread is buttered these days.
Because Grogu is the only thing that sells now for merchandise?
Pretty much, yeah.
So
we got off on a tangent.
We'll take it back. How the hell would Jod fit into that story then?
Well, I mean, we see pirates in the Mando show. We see pirates here.
Mostly clowns whenever we see them on.
Right. And, this happens kind of around the same time frame that Mandalorian happens. So, and on the internet, we've already seen folks saying that there are rumors that some Skeleton Crew characters are going to appear in the Mando Grogu movie. So there's that as well. So who knows?
Is this supposed to be a serious movie? Like, I don't know. Have they
told, like Citizen Kane?
I mean, like, I don't know. Is it gonna, like, I don't know if I can watch Grogu for 2 hours straight, or the Mandalorian for that matter.
Yeah. Well,
now Jod turns out to be a Jedi and he actually starts training Grogu. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that's not going to happen. He's just
Star Wars is in flux, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Do they even have a script for this movie? How far are we?
I don't know. They showed a little bit of a sizzle reel during some event that happened.
Did it derailed though? Because what's his name died?
What was that?
Didn't it get derailed after the one actor died?
Oh, that's Ahsoka. You're talking about Ahsoka? Oh, the Rocky guy.
Yeah, the Rocky guy. Apollo. After Apollo died.
Yeah. Well,
in the chat can be like just harassing us. That's fine.
I know, totally. But I don't know. We'll see. we'll
right there, folks. It's right there.
It's right there. We'll see what happens with that movie.
What's its supposed release?
I don't know.
Oh,
the chat knows.
It's with Rogue Squadron. Is that where it's at?
Yeah. But it's again, one episode left, and I don't know. It's going to be weird.
Yeah. I mean, so what are we rating this one?
Before we get to that, all right. So they get home.
Oh, well, yeah. Another question for you too, but go ahead.
Another Easter egg. Jod asks the droid, how many more rooms like this do you have? And he says 1,139.
That pissed me off so much. I don't know if because that's not an accident. That's not a coincidence.
Right.
But was it to piss us off that they went one off? Because
good. I don't know. Yeah.
I cannot tell you how much that pissed me off.
Right.
That they said 9 instead of 8. And if you don't know what reference we're talking about, you can get out of the chat right now.
I know, really.
Did that not irk you? Why? Why would they do that? It's not funny.
I don't know if
it's not funny, Disney.
You're mocking us now.
They
Disney.
are.
I don't know if I don't know. I mean, it's obviously
cheeky.
Deliberate. It was obviously deliberate, and but I don't know why they just didn't stick with 1,138. That's interesting. Or how many pieces of gold pressed latinum do you have? Well, 2,188.
But I was going to ask you. I know you talk a lot about the volume and how it looks and that sort of thing. How did you? To me, I thought it looked kind of fake, very artificial when they were descending down into the vault. What did you think about that?
Yeah, it's an easy way to do it. You just have an actor stand on the stage, and then the graphics just go, and you go like this. And there's one wide shot where you can tell that that Jod is, he's there, but I don't know, the contrast between the foreground and the background
looked to me like the really old bad. Way of when somebody would stand in front of a screen and it would just go up, but it's supposed to look more real than that with the volume.
Supposedly, but this episode was very volume aware, if I would coin a term. The story, I guess, warranted the use of the volume in this way, but like I said a couple of weekends ago, there are certain directors that kind of understand the relationship between how they shoot in the volume with the actors. Some are better than others, but you're right, this looked pretty flat at some points, especially during those points that you're talking about. So it's I think I
lost the illusion. I think they lost the illusion at that point.
Yeah. And, I still feel like there's a learning curve with using the volumes, especially with directors, because the workflow is so different.
That's kind of why I'm surprised why they're using so many different directors. Like, shouldn't you find who's good at the volume and just kind of stick with them as much as possible?
Yeah. That's how I would do it.
Have they said why they've chosen to use, and not just this project, but other projects as well? What is it? Just a time thing? Is that why they're using so many different directors instead of sticking with one person throughout the whole thing?
I feel like, Star Wars is no longer George Lucas's, and I think, now that is under the umbrella of Disney. I think, certain directors are under that mega studio umbrella, where, like in the old days, you would have actors that are like that. You had Jimmy Stewart that worked with a certain actor. You've got Bobby De Niro that usually just works with Scorsese. Yeah. So I feel like, the directors under the Disney umbrella, there is a family of directors that usually are within that scope. And they just, Disney just assigns them to do certain things or asks them, do you want to do a Star Wars? Do you want to do a Marvel? And it's one kind of incestuous family that way. I think they really should kind of stick with maybe seasoned directors or at least directors that kind of understand special effects in a way that, gives more of a bang for the buck when it comes to using that technology. Because I still feel like it's still new to a lot of people. And like I said, the workflow is different. The special effects have to be done beforehand, and then the actors come in and react to that. And a lot of times, obviously, that's one way of shooting yourself in the foot, because you can't, when the actors are there, time is money. When the actors are there, the cameras have to start to roll. And that kind of pigeonholes a director into a certain way of setting up cameras, because you can't say, you know what, we'll fix this in post, because the post is already done. In that case.
Well, you're much smarter than I am on this sort of thing. When was the last time there was a jump this big in technology in filmmaking? This seems like a huge leap from anything before. When was the last time we had something jump like this?
I mean, really, green screen and blue screen technology, compositing has been a staple in special effects filming for years. There hasn't been kind of a paradigm shift in that regards. The paradigm shift did happen when Mandalorian used the screen to be able to shoot the special effects in camera. I think a lot of the advances in filmmaking technology come in this age come from cameras, capture technology, digital intermediate technology, and the way that you capture the material in order for you to utilize it in post-production. There hasn't been, I think the paradigm shift when it comes to green screen, blue screen, and volume technology, kind of, they're like side by side. One is interchangeable than the other. And like I said, the workflow is a lot different. You have to make the special effects first, where before you shoot everything on a green screen, then you can add the stuff, ad nauseum, change things, add things. I think, again, getting off on a different discussion topic, the way that the film makers with The Creator, have you seen The Creator by Gareth Edwards?
No, I don't think so.
You should see it. It's on Hulu.
Okay.
But I think that is a perfect, and I'm hoping, I don't know anybody that works at ILM that would talk to me, at least. I'm hoping that somehow ILM learned something from the production of The Creator, because Gareth Edwards did Rogue One. Right. He went out and shot with a non-traditional digital camera. It's a Sony camera that you can go out and get. Anybody can get it if you have a spare $7,000. You can go out and shoot it. So he used that, very, I don't want to say prosumer, professional digital camera. He shot out on location, and then they came back and added special effects. But he shot in real locations. No green screen was used, no volume. He just went out and grabbed the footage as if he were, in the future, in a futuristic environment, and then came back with the footage. And then ILM added special effects to the footage that was already there. And it's a very non-limiting way to do it. If you obviously if you shoot on a green screen, then that the camera's got to be here. You can mask certain elements in and out of the frame. But with what Gareth Edwards did, and I think I don't know any other film that has done it since, or since the release of The Creator. He just went out and shot he went out to Indonesia and Vietnam and shot just everything practically, and then came back and added special effects, which look freaking seamless. I really, just as homework, I want you, the film is okay. I liked it for many reasons, and again, because I'm a technical guy, but you should watch it and check it out, and then I don't know, maybe we can do a show on it.
Oh yeah, sounds good.
But yeah, so getting back to the Skeleton Crew, I guess our kind of final take. What do you think is going to happen to the parents now that they're, the kids are together with the parents, but all of a sudden, that last shot was very reminiscent of Anakin going into the Jedi Temple and the kids saying,
"Yeah,
there's too many of them,
Master John. What are we going to do?" So who's he got rounded up? He's got the kids and he's got the parents rounded up.
Yeah.
Any droids down there? Were there any droids down there at the time?
I think there was one droid standing in the doorway.
I mean, obviously, we're assuming this is a happily ever after story
series.
I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I hope it's not too predictable. Although I'm not predicting anything right now, so I guess it can't be. Obviously, they're going to get out of it somehow. I have a feeling Fern's going to take the lead, maybe, on Fern and or Whim taking the lead of getting them out of this particular situation. Or it's just going to be a group effort. I mean, they do have strength in numbers. He does have a lightsaber. I don't know.
I have a feeling Whim's father is going to step up and reveal a secret.
Which secret is that?
I don't know. Only he knows it's a secret.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there are secrets on this show where they said you're not supposed to know until after graduation. So, I mean, there are some well-kept secrets on that planet.
Yeah.
Come think of it.
And again, I don't think they're going to end the series on
off like Clark Kent. Is that everything?
Yeah. And like I said, I don't think they're going to end this series on a down note where he does anything bad to make him.
Chop him off. It's going to be a 30-second episode.
Right. But who knows? Or we'll, you got a droid. Speaking of droids.
Yeah, 0.32. The answer is 0.32. I have no idea what I did to my watch, but that's the answer, folks. 0.32.
Is that would that be your rating for this episode?
No, it's slightly. That was my acolyte overall rating.
Yes,
0.32.
Jeez.
I'm going with the 6 on this one. Maybe eke out a 6.5, but I don't know. I just felt like this one. It looked fine. I can't necessarily put my finger on it, but I just feel like it felt flat compared to the other ones. And I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt at this point. Maybe it was by design, just so they can end with a crescendo with the season finale. But I'd say somewhere around 6 for me.
Yeah, I would say maybe like a 5.5. I didn't start to get really interested until things took a darker turn with the characters. Like I said, I think for the most of the episode, I was just kind of like, along for the ride.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And then, things started to get interesting towards the end when Jod's character kind of, turned on a dime there. As you know, I like my characters dark and moody. But one episode left. We'll see what
I still think we'll do it. My prediction is we will still do a show about the last episode of this series.
Yes, definitely. As you know, we didn't. We found that we really didn't need to talk about that last episode of the Acolytes. So we're like, you know what?
Nope.
Saturdays we're off.
I can't even tell you. I can't remember what happened on the season finale of. Yeah. Snoke happened.
Snoke happened.
No, was that? I don't know. That was season finale. Maybe it wasn't.
It wasn't Snoke. It was that other guy.
I'm not Snoke.
Darth Plagueis.
Yes, I don't care.
And then Yoda was on the toilet.
Oh my god! Oh yeah, that was the finale. Yoda on the toilet. Yeah. How could I have forgotten that?
Yeah. Chat.
Television.
How did we forget that? Like I said, 5.5 on that episode. Probably my least favorite episode of all of them up to now. And I'm really hoping that we get a longer than normal episode. That was like 33 minutes, 27 minutes.
I was hoping, like you said, it was going to be longer.
Yeah, but it wasn't. But maybe one day we'll get some long Star Wars series episodes that are longer than half an hour. I'm crossing my fingers.
I guess it's too much to ask.
It's too much to ask. 5.5, and what did you say? 6.5, something like that?
Yeah, I'll say 6.5, just so we can give it an even 6.
Yeah. But again, we don't hate it. It's it's an
overall, if you can, if your worst is around a 6, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, you're doing okay. But all right, cool, excellent. I want to thank everybody in the chat. Thank you very much for hanging out, and thank you for sticking around as I chatted about filmmaking technology. I know that was probably boring for a lot of you people, but thank you so much.
Next week is the taxation of trade routes.
Yes.
Stay tuned.
Excellent. So, what else? You guys ready for more Scarif Scuttlebutt episodes? What do we got? What do we got in the can? Getting ready to go.
We got episode. We got the Empire Strikes Back out there.
We're gonna hopefully we'll drop that in a couple of days. Almost done editing.
You want to talk about some directors, right? You know what you said?
Yeah. And I posted, if you guys want to help us out, we'd love to hear what you guys think. We're doing a series on directors and like the movies, I guess, a grouping of,
we're starting with Ryan Johnson.
Oh my God. our favorite directors in some of their movies, like, we've got obviously Francis Ford Coppola, we've got George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, those kind of directors, the good ones. But no, just talking about directors and their work.
Is George Lucas a good director? There's your question.
There is my question. A lot of people, well, we'll save it for the question, but I did post a question for the chat and people on our social media channels. If you guys want to participate, leave us a voicemail at 773-234-8659. I hope you guys have already put that number in your Rolodex. Put it in your favorites on your phone and give us a call. Leave us a voicemail because we want to hear what your favorite directors and what director that you have as a favorite has done some really consistent work. Tell us who that is and tell us why you like their style, their work. I know a lot of people are not into directing, directors in general, but I think it'll be a fun discussion as far as that goes. What else? We're still, we still need one more person for this damn giveaway.
I told you, can't give away free stuff.
Can't give away free stuff. In the next couple of days, if we don't get another person to have followed the instructions from last week, then
she'll make a fine addition to my collection.
Well, we already got 2 people, so I will pick.
No, she'll make a fine addition to my collection.
You're already getting one thing. But we'll select a winner next week and let you guys know. But again, we're putting a swag pack together of stickers, Red 5 Network stickers and Scarif Scuttlebutt stickers, and in one of those swag packs, I'm putting a Princess Leia Funko Pop figure for your enjoyment. And if we don't get 3 people, we'll get 2 people, and the 2 people that entered, your chances of winning the Funko Pop increased.
We're going to have to read a book on on how to give away stuff for free on the internet.
Yeah, it's a lost art.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Maybe we gave away too much free stuff. Maybe that's it.
Maybe that's it. They can't handle all the free swag. Yeah. Excellent.
We'll start charging for it.
Excellent, guys. Thank you again, chat. Have a wonderful Saturday night, and you do the same, Brad. Take us out.
Stay warm, stay safe, and that's the Scuttlebutt.